There I was in the woods trying to barbecue, and about a foot from my face, all of a sudden, I'm looking down at this big old frog that my son had caught in the woods running around with his friends. Now, there are about 40 of us there, fathers and sons at this particular camp out. But I'm in a hurry. It's starting to get dark. I'm trying to cook dinner really fast, and all of a sudden I look down and I see this frog. Now, I'm not big into creatures out in the woods and little things like that. My first instinct was to just pull away and like, that is disgusting. I don't know where that's been. I don't even know what it is. Just get that away from me. But before I did, I looked down and I could see my son's eyes and in the pride in his eyes as he was showing that to me. Well, the fact of the matter is to my son, that was a huge catch. That made him the envy of all the other little boys. And if I were to say, oh, that's gross, disgusting, get that away from me, what would be the message that I'd be conveying to him? To me, are those kind of things gross? Absolutely. But to him, that was a catch of a lifetime down by the creek. And he was so excited. And a lot of times when our kids do little things that initially, oh, that's so gross or whatever, we've got to ask ourselves the question, what does this mean to them? Before we respond, before we put our own mind and our own views into it, we've got to ask, what does this mean to them? And that's the exact question I asked when I looked down, and that gross looking thing was right in my face in the middle of cooking. I thought, what does that mean to my son? And so as a result, I was able to give him the feedback and say, wow, congratulations, that's fantastic. It wasn't in our house. We were out in the middle of the woods. We were camping. Everything was perfectly fine. So again, the question you've got to ask yourself whenever your kids bring you something or do something that just makes you ask yourself, what does this mean to them?